If I die, I die. I think I have now come to that place where this is it really. And today has to be that day. It has to be the day that I choose to carry that baggage towards the enemy's camp, like the four lepers, the story of the Israelites when they were under siege, or like Esther when she went to the king uninvited, or even the four Hebrew boys or three Hebrew boys rather, that said, even if our God does not save us, and this is me saying this with regards to being online, having an online presence. For many years now, I have thought about it, I've imagined it, I have practiced it, I have done all sorts of things. And in fact, at some point, I did upload a few videos, but I ran away again. And for some reason, I just cannot get it off my mind. I cannot make up my mind not to do it. It's not a choice for me anymore. And for some reason, I can't even, I couldn't have imagined that it would be this difficult. But as with many things in my life that I've come to notice over the years, is that when I talk about it or share it, is usually I'm usually able to overcome it. So this is me now, right? For my very first episode of whatever it is that I'm starting here that I know nothing about, I'm going to be sharing the reasons why I haven't done this for so long. I'm sharing it with myself loudly, so I'm sharing it with you and whoever would come across this at some point. I'm sharing it even with God, why I haven't done this and why I've really found this difficult, and I'm finding it difficult because I've recorded a lot of videos, but I haven't posted it. So I'm not going to say this is my first video. So let's imagine building a house. There's always a foundation to every building, whatever the type of building, whatever the structure, whether it's a light one or a skyscraper or a container or whatever, there is usually a foundation, a base. And one of the reasons, or the one reason, or the foundation of the many reasons why I haven't shared or why I do not have an online presence is fear. Fear, fear, fear. Now, prior to 12, 14 years ago, I wouldn't have said I was a fearful person per se. Maybe here and there I would avoid doing certain things or just give myself time to pick it up. But I kind of have gotten to a place where it's almost like a standstill now for me. I just cannot move. So I said that I had done a couple of videos some time ago, but I then got a feedback from a friend who then said to me, "Oh, Sean, yeah, this is not you. This is not you. This is not you. You're usually more boisterous. You're usually more lively, and all of that." And to be honest, those videos even though I was my smiley self, they were a bit very rigid. And I mean, I couldn't be like that for a 30 minutes video, to be honest. Anyway, so I knew she wasn't lying. She's a very good friend of mine. I knew she wasn't lying, and I knew that if I was going to do content like this, it would not be sustainable because of the way I had set it up. And for me, that brings me to the first point, my fear of the identity. How do I want to present myself? How do I want to show up online? Do I want to be, yeah, I mean, do I want to bring my indoor personality online? Do I want to show up like I show up with friends, with family? How would that look like to the world? Would that be appreciated? Would that be, now me just thinking all sorts of things. And then over the years, the many things that people have said, lovely people, but, that they've said mindlessly, that somehow has created an insecurity or unknowingly, or again, maybe just me overthinking. And that identity has been that fear of, okay, how do I present myself? How do I show up for people, that is not disingenuous, that is not fake, that is authentic in such a way that is also not overbearing. Because sometimes, yeah, I can be a lot. And as part of this identity issue, one of the things that I also don't want to do is, or I'm afraid of doing, and this again too is very lately that I noticed this, my fear of introducing myself. Prior to recently, it was easy for me to enter a room, look people in the face, shake people, and introduce myself. But for some reason, I found it very difficult to do that for a while. Then the second fear that I have is around my knowledge base, and my competency. Now, first of all, let's talk about my competency. In regards to speaking. So, at some point, one of the lies that I have come to kind of fooled around with is the fact that I'm not articulate enough. I'm like, yeah, how do you speak to people and then you're trying to explain something and then you're using so many words, or you're going on and on and on, you're rambling and all of that. I can ramble a lot when I'm nervous. And that's where, yeah, I have that fear that I might not be able to articulate my thoughts, my ideas. Two, I sometimes worry that my knowledge base is not wide enough. Oh, I would have to study more. I would have to do more to be able to show up as often as I would like online. The other thing is, I also feel like I've got a speech impediment. So, in that, sometimes I don't pronounce words accurately. And I mean, I've recorded some videos where it took me hours just because of one word. And I've done a bit of editing as well, and it can be a lot of headache editing or trying to edit. the other thing is the fear of the message itself that I'll be sharing. So the message is basically the gospel, right? However, I do have other interests. I have very strong opinions in politics. I love, I also am within the culture and heritage space, museum business generally. And I love, romance. And then there are just some life issues that I've come across online that I would love to react, that I have an opinion of, I have my own perspective of, and the Christian perspective. I also am very, very big on mental health, and all of this within the lens of the gospel. So I do worry about how do I share it in such a way that I'm still propagating the gospel, because that's the end game. That's the big picture. So that is the number 3 fear. Fear number 4 is the fear of sharing my life stories without compromising on authenticity, because of privacy and the privacy of others that will and may be involved in these stories. So I worry about that. I know that the gospel is the gospel, and my personal experience shouldn't be, how would I put it now? What's that thing they say about just preach Christ and not your personal experience? But sometimes I feel like there's a place for testimony. As a church girl, and as one who's big on church life, I I see a disconnect between how we receive the word, how much of the word we receive, and how that translates in our day-to-day life. And that is where this personal life stories come in for me, where I would like to give examples of how a particular word, I was able to translate it in my day-to-day life. Again, this is not just for believers, but even for unbelievers and people who are curious, people in between and are thinking, is this thing for me? Is Christ for me? And all of that. How does this work? The practicality of the gospel in our everyday living. Those are all of the fears, and to be honest, if you let me be, I will just go on and on and on and on. There'll be loads of excuses for not doing this, but I don't like long videos, and I'm hoping not to make long videos. That's another fear. So, but this is the good news. This is the good news. I myself haven't consumed a lot online. I followed a lot of people. I saw them start, and I know where they are right now. And this is not in terms of their subscribers or their likes or popularity. No, this is in terms of their knowledge base. This is in terms of their growth, how they've evolved as humans. And it's quite beautiful to see it. It's quite beautiful to see it. And I've also come across people who have said all of these things I've listed out, honestly, is not peculiar to me. So that's the good news, and that's why I am doing this now. So now, if any of this resonates with you, yeah, by chance, by providence, or by the algorithm, you're witnessing the making of history, right? And you feel you also want to witness what's going on, and you're interested in whatever it is I have to say or share, please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.